श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोरक्षरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौरिय गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नामचय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विरत गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। सारार्थ-दार्शिनी वृत्ति की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भागवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीन अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये Kripamai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Hari Priya Didi, Dandavat Pranams, Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Hari Bol. All right, so we continue our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading. I'll just read this summary. Fulfilling the promises and desires. One day, Shri Krishna went to the home of Ṭhākura, as per her earlier invitation, and fulfilled her desire. Simply by performing one service of offering sandalwood paste to Krishna, Ṭhākura attained rare personal association of Krishna. Krishna then went to Akrura's house with Balaram and Uddhav. Akrura honored them and offered heartfelt prayers to Krishna and Balaram. Krishna praised saintly Akrura as purifier of the sinful, and asked him to visit Hastinapur to find out the well-being of the Pandavas, the sons of his paternal aunt Kunti Devi. Akrura went to Hastinapur and stayed there for months. Vidura and Kunti Devi described to Akrura how the envious sons of Dhritarashtra had tried to destroy the Pandavas by various evil means and were contemplating further atrocities. Kunti Devi spoke of her anguish with tearful eyes, chanted Krishna's names, expressed her surrender to him, and desired his support and protection for her sons. Akrura reassured Kunti that her sons, born of great demigods, will never be unfortunate, but will soon receive the greatest possible good fortune. Akrura then spoke to Dhritarashtra. The duty of a religious king is to treat all his subjects equally. What to speak of sons and nephews? By such fair behavior, you will gain fame and fortune. Otherwise, you will attain infamy in this life and hellish existence in the next. Dhritarashtra replied, Your lightning-like beneficial statements cannot be within my cloud-like mind. My tight knot of affection for my sons have made me biased towards. My tight knot of affection for my sons has made me biased toward them by destiny. No one can transgress the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. His purpose for descending into the Yadu dynasty will inevitably be fulfilled. Understanding Dhritarashtra's partisan mentality, Akrura returned to Mathura and related everything to Krishna. So that's what we read the day before yesterday. And now we continue with chapter 50. Krishna establishes the city of Dwarka. And Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, and Ganga Mataji, and Mantramurti Mataji. Haribo, everybody. Okay, Krishna establishes the city of Dwarka. Shri Shuka Uvacha Asti Praptischa Karma Kamsasya Mahishyo Bharatarshava Vrite Bhartari Dukarte Iyatusma Pitur Grihan. Shukadev Goswami said, When Kamsa was killed, O heroic descendant of Bharata, his two queens, Asti and Prapti, went to their house in great distress. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. I offer respects to my Guru so that I may use my intelligence to explain the second half of the 10th canto as I did the first part. In this chapter, Krishna defeats Jarasandha 17 times. Then, supposedly out of fear of having to fight with him again, out of fear of having to fight with him an 18th time, Krishna brought his subjects to Dwarka. Pitre Magadharajaya Jarasandhaya Dukhite Vedayam Chakratu Sarvam Atmavaidhavyakaranam. The sorrowful queens told their father, King Jarasandha of Magadha, about how they had become widows. Satara Priyamakarnya Shokamarsha Yuto Nripa Ayadavin Mahim Kartum Chakre Paramamudyamam. Hearing this odious news, O king, Jarasandha was filled with sorrow and anger, and he began the greatest possible endeavor to rid the earth of the Yadavs. Akshohini bir vingshatya tisribhishchapi sangvrita yadurajadhanim maturam nyarudhat sarvato disham. With a force of 23 Akshohini divisions, he laid siege to the Yadu capital, Mathura, on all sides. Nirikshatar balam Krishna, udvelam iva sagaram, swapuram tena sangrudham, swajanam cha bhayakulam. Chintayam asa bhagavan, hari karanamanusha, tadesha kalanugunam, swavatara prayojanam. Although Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the original cause of this world, when he descended to the earth, he played the role of a human being. Thus, when he saw Jarasandha's assembled army surrounding his city like a great ocean overflowing its shores, and when he saw how this army was striking fear into his subjects, the Lord considered what his suit should be according to the time, place, and specific purpose of his current incarnation. Commentary. In great wonder, Krishna observed Jarasandha's army, which was like a vast ocean overflowing its shores. It may be questioned, what is the need for this wondering? There is no need at all for Krishna to wonder, since he is the original cause of everything. Yet it is happening because Krishna is displaying pastimes as an ordinary human being. Krishna's actual thoughts are described in 4 verses, text 7 to 10. Hanishyami balam hetar bhuvi bharam samahitam magadhena samanitam vashyanam sarvabhujam akshohini bhisankyatam Bhatashvarata kunjarai magadhastu nahantavyo bhuyakarta balodyamam. The Supreme Lord thought, since it is such a burden on the earth, I will destroy Jarasandha's army consisting of Akshohinis, of foot soldiers, horses, chariots, and elephants, which the king of Magadha has assembled from all subservient kings and brought together here. But Jarasandha himself should not be killed, since in the future he will certainly assemble another army. Commentary. Krishna thought, I will destroy Jarasandha's army, which is a burden to the earth. Jarasandha, however, should not be killed, because he will enthusiastically bring another army of demons for me to annihilate. Itararto vataro yang bhubhara haranaya me samrakshanaya sadhunam kritonyesham vadhaya cha. This is the purpose of my present incarnation, to relieve the earth of its burden, protect the pious, and kill the impious. Commentary. Krishna thought, I have come as Krishna avatar to relieve the burden of the earth, to protect the devotees, and to kill the demons. Anyopi dharma rakshaya deha sambriyate maya viramayapya dharmasya kale prabhava kale prabhavata kvachit. I also assume other bodies to protect religion and to end irreligion whenever it flourishes in the course of time. Commentary. Krishna thought, I also presume other bodies, such as Varaha, to protect religion and destroy irreligion. Evam dhyayati govinda akashat suryavarchaso rathav upastito sadhya sasuto saparichado. Shukadev Goswami continued, as Lord Govinda was thinking in this way, two chariots, as effulgent as the sun, suddenly descended from the sky. They were complete with drivers and equipment. Commentary. As Govinda was thinking in this way, suddenly by his desire, two chariots came from Vaikuntha and stood near him. Ayudhani cha divyani puranani yadrichaya Drishtva tani hrishikesha sankarshanam athabravit. The Lord's eternal divine weapons also appeared before him spontaneously. Seeing these, Sri Krishna, Lord of the senses, addressed Lord Sankarshan. Pashyarya vyasanam praptam yadunam tvavatam prabho esha te ratha ayato dayitanya yudhani cha ettarartam hino janma sadhunam isha sharma krit trayo vingshatyani ka sorry trayo vingshatyani kakyam bhumir bharam apakuru. The Supreme Lord said, my respected elder brother, see this danger which has beset your dependents, the Yadus. And see, dear master, how your personal chariot and favorite weapons have come before you. The purpose for which we have taken birth, my lord, is to secure the welfare of our devotees. Please now remove from the earth the burden of these 23 armies. Commentary. Krishna said, my respected elder brother, you are the lord of the Yadus who are protected by you. You are the lord of the Yadus who are protected by you. Now just see what has beset your dependents, the Yadus. Evam samantra dasharho tangshito ratino purat nirjagmatu svayudhaidhyo balenal piyasavrito. After Lord Krishna had thus invited his brother, the two Dasharhas, Krishna and Balaram, wearing armor and displaying their resplendent weapons, drove out of the city in their chariots. They drove out of the city in their chariots. Only a very small contingent of soldiers accompanied them. Shankam dadmo vinirgata harir daruka sarathi tato bhutpara sanyanam hridhi vitrasave patu. As Lord Krishna came out of the city with Daruka at the reins of his chariot, he blew his conch shell, and the enemy's soldiers' hearts began to tremble with fear. Tavaha maghado vikshya he Krishna purushadhama natvaya yodamichami palenaikena lajjaya guptena hi tvaya manda nayotseya hi bandhuhan. Jarasandha looked at the two of them and said, "O Krishna, lowest of men, I do not wish to fight alone with you, since it would be a shame to fight with a mere boy. You fool who keep yourself hidden, O murderer of your go away. I will not fight with you." Commentary. Taking the external meaning, Jarasandha said, "O Krishna, lowest of men, I am ashamed to fight with you, a mere boy who hides himself in Gokul as a Vaishya. O fool, O killer of your uncle, I will not fight with you. Go away." There is another meaning skillfully contained in the same words. Jarasandha said, "O great personality to whom all others are inferior." In other words, Jarasandha is saying, Krishna is the Purushottam, best of the living entities. "I will not fight with you, I will not fight with you, whose child is Brahma. For you are the Lord of all lords. I am ashamed to fight with you because I have lived a sinful life, am unqualified. You are hidden in everyone's heart, and therefore invisible to material vision. So I do not desire to fight with you." According to Sanskrit grammar, the words tvaya manda can also be divided as tvaya amanda. In this case, Jarasandha is indicating that Krishna is not foolish, but rather most alert. The word bandhu was used by Jarasandha in the sense of relative, since Lord Krishna killed his maternal uncle, Kamsa. However, bandhu comes from the verb band, to bind, and therefore bandhu han can be understood as one who destroys the bondage of ignorance. Tava Rama yadi shraddha yudhasya dhairamudvaha hitva va macharaischinnam dehang svar yahimang jahi. You, Ram, should gather your courage and fight with me if you think you can do it. You may either give up your body when it is cut to pieces by my arrows. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. You may either give up your body when it is cut to pieces by my arrows and thus attain to heaven, or else kill me. Commentary. Jarasandha suspected that Balaram's body was invincible, and thus he offered what might be a more practical alternative, that Balaram Jarasandha. Another meaning is, go away from me since I am so sinful, and go to Vaikuntha, having left aside my body cut by arrows. 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Na Vaishura Vikatante Darshayante Vaporusham Na Grihnimo Vacho Rajan Aturasya Mamurshata. The Supreme Lord said, "Real heroes do not simply boast, but rather show their prowess in action. We cannot take seriously the words of one who is full of anxiety and who wants to die." Shishuka Uvacha Jarasutastav Abhisritya Jarasutastav Abhisritya Madhavo Baloghena Baliyasa Vrinot Sasainyayana Dvajavaji Sarathi Surya Nalovayur Ivabhrarenubhi. Shukadev Goswami said, "Just as the wind covers the sun with clouds or fire with dust, the son of Jara marched toward the two descendants of Madhu with his huge assemblage of armies. Surrounded them, and their soldiers and chariots, flags, horses, and charioteers." So their massive army surrounded the army of Krishna. Commentary. As the wind covers the sun with clouds or fire with dust, Jarasandha covered the two Madhavs who appeared in the Madhu dynasty by surrounding them with his armies. However, this was just an apparent covering, for nothing can cover the sun. Suparnatala dvajachi itano ratav alakshayantyo hariramayor mridhe striya puratalakakarmya gopuram samashrita sam mumuhus shuchardita. The women stood in the women stood in the watchtowers, palaces, and high gates of the city. When they could no longer see Krishna's and Balaram's chariots, identified by banners marked with the emblems of Garuda and a palm tree, they were struck with grief and fainted. Commentary. This particularly mentions that the women were filled with intense grief. This is because of their extraordinary attachment to Krishna and Balaram, which far exceeded that of the men. Hanika prayo muchan muhu shili mukhatul banavarsha piritam swasainya alokya surarchitam vyaspurjayacharnka sharasanotamam. Seeing his army tormented by the relentless and savage rain, seeing his army tormented by the relentless and savage rain of arrows from the massive opposing forces gathered like clouds about him, Lord Hari twanged his excellent bow, the Sharanga, which both gods and demons worship. Grinan nisanga ratasanta dachcharan Vikrishyamunchan Shitabana Pungan Nignan Ratan Kundavaji Patin Nirantaram Yadvad Alata Chakram. Lord Krishna took arrows from his quiver, fixed them on the bowstring, pulled back, and released endless torrents of sharp shafts, which struck the enemy's chariots, elephants, horses, and infantrymen. The Lord shooting his arrows resembled a blazing circle of fire. Commentary. Seeing his own army afflicted by the extremely fierce downpour of arrows from the cloud of enemy troops, Krishna drew his bow. Verse 23 answers the question: In what manner did Krishna shoot arrows? Continuously drawing arrows from his quiver one by one, Krishna fixed them on the bowstring, pulled back the string, and released them, thereby destroying all the chariots and other things. The word continuously, nirantaram, modifies all actions such as picking up the bow, fixing the arrows, pulling, shooting, and striking. Although following in order, all the actions seemed simultaneous to the onlookers. It appeared that Krishna was doing millions of actions at once. Thus, the bow releasing arrows against his enemy troops, which were surrounding Mathura on all sides, appeared like a firebrand, just as a blazing piece of wood appears like a circle of fire when whirled around. Nirbhinna kumbha karino nipetur anekashoshva sharavrikna kandara rata hatashva dvajasutanayaka padayataschinna bujorukandhara. Elephants fell to the ground, their foreheads split open. Cavalry horses fell with severed necks. Chariots fell with their horses, flags, drivers, and masters all shattered. And foot soldiers collapsed with severed arms, thighs, and shoulders. Sanchidyama bhavajinam anga prasuta shatasho srigapaga pujahaya purusha shirshakachapa hatta dvipa haya grahakula karorumina narakesha shaivala dhanustarangya yudagul masankula achurika varta bhayanaka maha mani praveka bharanang sharkara. pravartita bhiru mride manasvinam harsha kari parasparam Vinignatarin Mushalena Durmadan Sankarshanena Parimeya Tejasa Palang Tarangar Durga Bhairavam Turantaparam Agadhendra Palitam Kshayang Pranitam Vasudeva Putrayor Vikriditam Taj Jagarishayo Param. On the battlefield, hundreds of rivers of blood flowed from the limbs of the humans, elephants, and horses who had been cut to pieces. In these rivers, arms resembled snakes, human heads, turtles, dead elephants, islands, dead horses, crocodiles. Hands and thighs appeared like fish, human hair like water weeds, bows like waves, and varied weapons like clumps of bushes. The rivers of blood teems with all of these. Chariot wheels looked like terrifying whirlpools, and precious gems and ornaments resembled stones and gravel in the rushing red rivers, which aroused fear in the timid and joy in the wise. With the blows of his plow weapon, the immeasurably powerful Lord Balaram destroyed Magadhendra's military force. And though this force was as unfathomable and fearsome as an impassable ocean, for the two sons of Vasudeva, the lords of the universe, the battle was hardly more than play. Commentary for text 25 to 26. Rivers of blood flowed from the limbs of the men, elephants, and horses severed by the arrows of Krishna and Balaram. The metaphor of the river is described. In that river, the arms resembled snakes. The dead elephants appeared to be islands or high areas, and the horses looked like crocodiles. These quivering crocodiles filled up the water. The rivers were dangerous, with whirlpools of shields and wheels of chariots. The big jewels and fine ornaments were the stones and gravel in the rivers. These rivers gave joy to the intelligent. O king, the army of Jarasandha was as dangerous and hard to cross as an unfathomably deep ocean without a shore. Nevertheless, Krishna and Balaram crossed this ocean without any effort at all, as if they were just playing. Stityud bhavantam bhuvanatrayasya yasam hite nanta gunasvalilaya natasya chitram parapakshani grahas tatapi martyanu vidhasya varnyate. For him who orchestrates the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the three worlds, and who possesses unlimited spiritual qualities, it is hardly amazing that he subdues an opposing party. Still, when the Lord does so, imitating human behavior, sages glorify his acts. Commentary. If Krishna is the Lord of the universe, how can he derive any pleasure in fighting with the most insignificant jivas who are So how can he derive any pleasure in fighting with the most insignificant jivas who are no equal to him? If Krishna experiences no taste for this, then what is the use of describing it? This verse answers the question. What is so astonishing about Krishna's fighting? For Krishna, who appears in human body and performs activities like a human, it is suitable. Krishna assumes a human form and behaves accordingly. For Krishna to defeat Jarasandha in that form by which he creates the universe would not be relishable, since it would be an uninteresting mismatch. But if Krishna becomes a human being and defeats such a mighty personality as Jarasandha, then such a human opponent for a human would be suitable. Nor should one argue that Krishna's human form is not his original form, his original swarup, because the scriptures say, Narakriti parabrahma karanam manushaha. The supreme absolute truth, for his own purpose, appears in a human-like form, although he is the source of everything. That's from the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. Similarly, The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:14-32 states, Yan mitram paramanandam purna brahma sanatanam. The eternal supreme Brahman, the source of transcendental bliss, has become their friend. Jagraha viratam ramo jarasandim mahabalam hatani kavashishtasum singha singham ivojasa. Jarasandha, with his chariot lost and all his soldiers dead, was left with only his breath. At that point, Lord Balaram forcibly seized the powerful warrior, just as one lion takes hold of another. Commentary. Balaram seized Jarasandha, whose army was killed and whose life heirs alone remained. Padyamanam hataratim pasharvaruna manushai varayam asagovindas tena karyam chikirshaya. With the divine noose of Varuna and other mortal ropes, Balaram began tying up Jarasandha, who had killed so many foes. But Lord Govinda still had a purpose to fulfill through Jarasandha, and thus he asked Balaram to stop. Commentary. Govinda prevented Balaram from tying up Jarasandha, who was almost dead, because he desired that Jarasandha would repeatedly gather together the demoniac armies who were a burden to the earth and needed to be killed. The word hataratim means who has killed his enemies, or through whom his enemies would be killed. Sa mukto lokanathabhyam vridito virasammata tapase krita sankalpo varita patirajabhi vakyai pavitrartha padyar nayanai prakritar api sakarma bandha prapto yang yadhubhiste parabhava. Jarasandha, whom fighters had highly honored, was ashamed after being released by the two lords of the universe, and thus he decided to undergo penances. On the road, however, several kings convinced him with both spiritual wisdom and mundane arguments that he should give up his idea of self-abnegation. They told him, "Your defeat by the Yadus was simply the unavoidable reaction of your past karma." Commentary. Jarasandha was because others considered him to be valiant. Therefore, he should have died in battle. The word pavitrani means expressing advice as to the reality of the situation. The words nayanai mean with logical arguments, and prakritai means mundane. Jarasandha's friends stopped him from doing austerities by giving philosophical teachings with mundane moral precepts. The philosophical advice was, your defeat was already written on your forehead as a result of your karma, so how could you avoid it? After all, the Smriti scripture states, inevitably you must enjoy the results of acts committed. By a double meaning, the same statement gives advice according to moral precepts. If your defeat was due to prarabdha karma, then why should you be ashamed? It cannot be avoided in that case. What intelligent man is going to think that you are weaker than these paltry yadavs? Therefore, in victory over one of them, there is no glory, and in defeat by one of them, there is no shame. There is nothing exceptional in the lion Jarasandha winning over the black deer Krishna, and no blame incurred if he fails to win. Even when warriors win or lose in battle with equal fighters, they should not feel pride or humiliation. So what to speak of when they win or lose with persons who are so inferior? Hateshu sarvanikeshu nripo barhadratastada upekshito bhagavata magadhan durmanayayo. all of his armies having been killed, and himself neglected by the personality of Godhead, King Jarasandha, son of Brihadrata, then sadly returned to the kingdom of the Magadhas. Commentary. The son of Brihadrata, Barhadrata, or Jarasandha, went to Magadha. Mukundo Pyakshata Balo Nistirnari Balarnava Vikiryamana Kusumais Tridashar Anumodita Maturar Upasangamya Vijvarar Muditatmabhi Upagiya Mana Vijaya Suttama Gadavandibhi. Lord Mukunda had crossed the ocean of his enemies' armies with his own military force, completely intact. He received congratulations from the Devon, who showered him with flowers. The people of Mathura, relieved of their feverish anxiety and filled with joy, came out to meet him as professional bards, heralds, and panegyrists. They came out to meet him as professional bards, heralds, and panegyrists, sang in praise of his victory. Commentary. Although not written in the verse, it is understood that Mukunda entered Mathura, where he was greeted as described here. Shankadundu bhayo ne dur, bheri turyanane kasha, vina venu mridangani, puram pravishati prabho. Sikta margam hrishta janam, patta kabir abhyalankritam, nirghushtam brahmagoshena, kautuka baddhatoranam. As the Lord entered his city, conch shells and kettle drums sounded, and many drums, horns, venas, flutes, and mridangas played in concert. The boulevards were sprinkled with water. There were banners everywhere, and the gateways were decorated for the celebration. The citizens were elated, and the city resounded with the chanting of Vedic hymns. Commentary. These verses describe the city of Mathura. Nichiya manonare bhir malya dadyakshana akshatankurai nirikshya manasa sneham prityutkalita. As the women of the city affectionately looked at the Lord, their eyes wide open with love, they scattered flower garlands, yogurt, parched rice, and newly grown sprouts upon him. Commentary. The completion of this verse is understood. Upon entering the city, he was sprinkled with flowers. However, the grammar is changed from pravishati prabho, the locative absolute, in verse 37, to prabhu pravishat, the Lord entered Mathura. Or else the subject of this verse is the next verse, 40, pradishat prabhu, the Lord gave to Ugrasen. Ayodhana gatitham anantam virya bhushitam yadu rajaya tat sarvam ahritam pradishat prabhu. Lord Krishna then presented to the Yadu king all the wealth that had fallen on the battlefield, namely the countless ornaments of the dead. Commentary. Krishna presented Ugrasen with all the jeweled ornaments collected from the bodies of the soldiers, horses, and other animals that had fallen on the battlefield. Evam sapta dasha kritvas tavat dakshohini balam yuyude magado raja yadubi Krishna palitai. 17 times the king of Magadha met defeat in this very way, and yet throughout these defeats, he fought on with his Akshohini divisions against the forces of the Yadu dynasty, who were protected by Sri Krishna. Commentary. Jarasandha had a vast army of 23 Akshohinis. Akshinvangstar balam sarvam Vrishnaya Krishna tejasa Ateshu sveshvanikeshu Tyakto gar aribhir nirpa. By the power of Lord Krishna, the Vrishnis would invariably annihilate all of Jarasandha's forces, and when all his soldiers had been killed, the king, released by his enemies, would again go away. Commentary. The Vrishnis destroyed his army. Ashtadashama sangrama agamini tarantara narada preshito viro yavana pratyadrishyata. Just as the 18th battle was about to take place, a barbarian warrior named Kalyavan, sent by Narad, appeared on the battlefield. Ruroda maturam etya tisribir mlechakotibi driloke cha prati dvandvo vrishnin shrutvatma sammitam. Arriving at Mathura, this Yavan laid siege to the city with 30 million barbarian soldiers. He had never found a human rival but he had heard that the Vrishnis were his equals. Commentary. The demon Kalyavan was sent by Narad Presito. The story of this is told in the Vishnu Purana as follows. Once Gargya, the son of Gargamuni, was ridiculed by his brother-in-law as a eunuch, and when the Yadavs heard this, they laughed heartily. Gargya was infuriated by their laughter. He set out to the south, thinking, "May I have a son who will bring terror to the Yadavs." He ate powdered iron and worshipped Shiva for 12 years. Oh my God. Obtaining the boon from Shiva, he returned home satisfied and gave birth to a son through the wife of the childless king. He gave birth to a son through the wife of the childless king of the Yavanas. Kalyavan was the son born to him. Kalyavan, who was as ferocious as Shiva the Destroyer, inquired from Narad, "Presently on earth, who are the most powerful kings?" Narad said, "The Yadavs are the most powerful." Thus Kalyavan appeared in Mathura, sent by Narad. Tang drishtva chintayat Krishna sankarshana sahayavan aho yadunam vrijinam praptam hyu bhayato mahat. When Lord Krishna and Lord Sankarshan saw Kalyavan, Krishna thought about the situation and said, "Ah, a great danger now threatens the Yadus from two sides." Commentary. Out of affection for the Yadavs, Krishna worried. The Yadus have calamity on both sides, from Kalyavan and Jarasandha. Yavano yang nirundhesman adyatavan mahabala magadopyadyavashvova parashvova gmishyati. This Yavan is besieging us already, and the mighty king of Magadha will soon arrive here. If not today, then tomorrow or the next day. Avayo yudyator asya yadyagranta jarasuta bandhum hanishyatatyava neshyate purang bali. If powerful Jarasandha comes while we too are busy fighting Kalyavan, Jarasandha may kill our relatives or else take them away to his capital. Commentary. Krishna thought, if Jarasandha comes while we too are fighting with Kalyavan, He may kill our relatives or take them to his city. Sorry. Tasmadadya vidasyamo durgam dviparadurgamam tatra gyatim samadhayo yavanam katayamahe. Therefore, we will immediately construct a fortress that no human force can penetrate. Let us settle our family members there and then kill the barbarian king. Let us settle our family members there and then kill the barbarian king. What was it? It was a fortress that no human force can penetrate. Iti samantra bhagavan durgam dvadashayojanam anta samudre nagaram kritsnad bhutam achikarat. After thus discussing the matter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead had a fortress, 12 yojanas in circumference, built within the sea. Inside that fort, he had a city built containing all kinds of wonderful things. Commentary. Krishna built a fortress within the ocean measuring 12 yojanas. 8 barley corns made 1 thumb length, 12 of which make 1 palm. 3 palms are 1 hand, and 2 hands are called a kisku. 2 kiskus are called a bow length, a dhanu, and 2,000 bow lengths make 1 krosha. 2 kroshas are 1 gavyuti, and 2 gavyutis are 1 yojana. Krishna built a city within the fort. Such an interesting measuring system, huh? Drishyate yatra hi tvashtaram vijnanam shilpanai punam rathaya chatvara vithi rathya chatvara vithibhir yatavastu vinirmitam suradroma lato dhyana vichitro pavananvitam hema shringar divi sprigbhi spatika dalat gopurai Rajatara kutai koshtar hema kumbhar alankritai ratna kutar grihar hemar mahamara katastalai vastoshpatinam cha grihar valabhibhishcha nirmitam chaturvanya janakirnam yadudeva griholasat. In the construction of that city could be seen the full scientific knowledge and architectural skill of Vishvakarma. There were wide avenues, commercial roads, and courtyards laid out on ample plots of land. There were splendid parks, and also gardens stocked with trees and creepers from the heavenly planets. The gateway towers were topped with golden turrets touching the sky, and their upper levels were fashioned of crystal quartz. I don't know what a turret is. The turret. Turret is a small tower on top of a larger tower. Okay. A castle with fairy tale turrets. Okay. The gold cover houses were adorned in front with golden pots, on top with golden roofs, and their floors were inlaid with precious emeralds. Besides the houses stood treasury buildings, warehouses, and stables for fine horses, all built of silver and brass. Each residence had a watchtower and also a temple for its household deity. Filled with citizens of all 4 social orders, the city was especially beautified by the palaces of Sri Krishna, the Lord of the Yadus. Commentary. The wisdom of Vishvakarma, manifest as a skill in architecture, was seen in the city of Dwarka. 3.5 verses describe that Dwarka was constructed with main roads, side roads, yards, and houses, not extending beyond their designated areas. There were beautiful gardens and parks full of celestial trees and creepers. The horse stables were made of silver, brass, and iron, and the houses had gold kalashas and spirals of rubies and other jewels. It had temples with golden towers touching the sky. The city was especially beautified with the palaces of Krishna. Sudharmam parijatam cha Mahendra prahinodhare Yatra chavastito martyo martya dharmar na yujyate. The Lord Indra brought Sri Krishna the Sudharma assembly hall, standing within which a mortal man is not subject to the laws of morality. Indra also gave the Parijata tree. Commentary. Krishna also placed a Parijata tree in his Dwarka residence. Here, the past tense is used because it occurred prior to the conversation between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, even though it happened sometime after the city's construction. The word Martya Dharma, laws of morality, refers to the 6 pushing agents such as hunger and thirst. Shamaikavarnan varuna hayan shuklan manojavam ashto nidipati koshan lokapala nijodayam. Lord Varuna offered horses as swift as the mind, some of which were pure dark blue, others white. The treasurer of the demigods, Kuvera, gave his 8 mystic treasures, and the rulers of various planets each presented their own opulences. Commentary. Kuvera is the master of the treasury and the 8 mystic treasures, which are described as follows. Parmaschaiva Mahaparmo Matsyakurmo Tatodaka Nila Mukunda Shankascha Dayoshto Prakirtita. The 8 mystic treasures are called Parma, Mahaparma, Matsya, Kurma, Odaka, Nila, Mukunda, and Shanka. The masters of the directions gave their own particular wealth. Yadyad Bhagavatam Adipatyam Sasiddhaye Sarvam Pratyarpayam Asur Haro Bhumi Kate Nripa. The Supreme Lord, having come to the earth, O king, these demigods now offered him whatever powers of control he had previously delegated to them for the exercise of their particular authority. Tatra yoga prabhavena nitva sarva janam hari prajapalena ramena samanumantrita nirjagama puradvarat parmamali nirayudha. After transporting all his subjects to the new city by the power of his mystic Yoga Maya, Lord Krishna consulted with Lord Balaram, who had remained in Mathura to protect it. Then, wearing a garland of lotuses but bearing no weapons, Lord Krishna went out of Mathura by its main gate. Commentary. Yoga Prabhavena refers to Krishna's Yoga Maya Shakti. The citizens of Mathura were transferred to Dwarka by her power. This is stated in the Uttarakanda of the Padma Puran. Sushuptam Mathurayantu Paurangstatra Janardana Udritya Sahasaratro Dwarakayam Nyaveshayat. Prabhudaste Jana Sarve Putradara Samanvita Haima Harmya Tale Vishta Vismayan Paramam Yayu. In the middle of the night, as the citizens of Mathura slept, Lord Janardan suddenly removed them from that city and placed them in Dwarka. When the men awoke, they were all amazed to find themselves, their children, and their wives sitting inside palaces made of gold. Krishna consulted with Balaram. You stay here a short time, and I will use this ploy to kill Jarasandha. Thus ends the commentary on the 50th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. All right, so I'll sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Oh, and Dandavat Pranams to Gargaraj ji and Sudevi Didi. Dandavat Pranams to both of you. Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhai Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Juki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, sorry, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkisharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Srila Satchid Ananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Anuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जाय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जाय Sārārtha-darśinī वृत्ति की जाय श्री अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So I'll see you all. Actually, this evening I'm going to. I'm not sure. Did you see the Param Gurudev article that I made a video for? It was called "A True Experience of Separation." I posted it on the Vine of Devotion channel, and I did it nicely. It wasn't a live reading. I practiced each line to try to say it nicely. Anyways, so I'm doing that again with an article written by Śrīla Vāmana Goswami Maharaj, titled "Self-Assessment on the Disappearance Day of Guru Pad Padma." And so, yeah, I'll be posting that tonight, and then tomorrow morning, I will read the glories of my Gurudev and of Śrīla Vāmana Goswami Maharaj, who's my Gurudev's disappearance day tomorrow and Śrīla Vāmana Goswami Maharaj's appearance day tomorrow. So I will read about them, and then the day after tomorrow, we will continue our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading. All right, everybody? Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. And you'll see the video. I'm not going to go live this evening. I'm just going to post the video this evening of the self-assessment on the disappearance day of Guru Padma. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hari Bol.